All right, this video is on multiplying fractions, and here's an example of one. Example number 1, 3 times 2/5. Well, I could solve this with a model, and knowing that this multiplication sign also means of. So this is 3 groups, so I'll just draw 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. Of 2/5. So that's 2/5, 2/5, 2/5. Now this looks like repeated, this is repeated addition. So all I'm going to do is add these. So I could just write it here. 2/5 plus 2/5 plus 2/5. And then I know adding and subtracting is plain to see. You match the bottoms perfectly. And then you just add the tops. 2, 4, 6. Or you could do it without the model. So let me rewrite the problem. 3 times 2/5. And I could use the song. Adding and subtracting is plain to see. You match the bottoms perfectly. Multiplying fractions is no big problem. It's the top times the top. Wait, that's not a fraction. I have to make it a fraction. We know to make 3 a fraction, you just put it over 1. Okay, now we've made the whole number 3 into a fraction, 3 over 1. Now, adding and subtracting is plain to see. You match the bottoms perfectly. Multiplying fractions, that's what we have, is no big problem. It's the top times the top. So 3 times 2 is 6. And the bottom times the bottom. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay. This is an improper fraction, and if you wanted to make it into a mixed number, all you'd have to do is, it looks like this number, this improper fraction, like always, has a hidden hole. So I'm going to take out a hole. So the down number is 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. And then the numerator, I'm going to put a 5. And we know that's equal to 1 whole. And then what I'd have left over would be 1/5. So this answer, this is an improper fraction. If you wanted, you could write it as a mixed number, which would be 1 and 1/5. And that's a mixed number. All right, let's do another example, and this time let's do a word problem. This looks scary, but I think you'll find it's not that hard. It says, every time Dominic runs, he runs 2/3 of a mile. Whenever Tag runs, he runs 3/3 of a mile. If Dominic runs 6 times a week, how many times must Tag run to cover the same distance? So I need to write Dominic. So I know I'm dealing with Dominic. So I'm going to write Dominic. Sorry, the screen. Dominic. Now, the key word here is if Dominic runs 6 times. So I'm just going to write 6 times. And then it looks like he runs 2/3 of a mile each time. Okay, I could solve this 2 ways. I could say 6 groups of 2/3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and have 2/3 in each. I can't really see that, so hopefully this will 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. And then adding and subtracting is plain to see. You match the bottoms perfectly, so the bottom is 3, and then I add the tops, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Or I could do it multiplying. We know when we multiply fractions, both numbers have to be fractions, so I'm going to convert this one to a fraction. Multiplying fraction is no big problem. It's the top times the top, 6 times 2 is 12, and the bottom times the bottom, 1 times 3 is 3. So we got the same answer. Now, if we looked at this, that looks like I've got some hidden holes in there. So I've got 1 hidden hole, plus 2 hidden holes, plus 3 hidden holes, and it looks like I have 1 more, plus 4 hidden holes. So I know that I can leave the answer as improper, which would be this, or I can say that's equal to 1 hole, that's equal to 1 hole, that's equal to 1 hole, that's equal to 1 hole. So it looks like the answer could be 4, okay? Now we have to find out about tag. Tag, okay, so I'm gonna write tag here. Now, I don't know how many times he's gonna have to run, but I do know whenever he runs 3/3. And I know that needs to equal 12/3 or 4, right? So if I look at this, well, this is pretty easy because I know this is equal to 1 whole. And we just found out that this right here, he needed to run, Dominic ran 4 holes, 4 whole miles. So all I have to do is put a 4 here. And that should be the answer. So this would be the answer. And I'll double check it. So this is the answer right here. Let's check it. Multiplying, oops, that's in a fraction. Let's just check it. I'll put a 1 here. Multiplying fractions, no big problem. It's the top times the top. 4 times 3 is 12. And the bottom times the bottom. 1 times 3 is 3. So we know that 4 is the answer. So it says, how many times must Tig run to cover the same distance? So I would just say, keep in one pen, Tig must run 4 times. And there we have our answer. Okay, I hope that helps. Thanks.